New Mexico sells itself on turquoise jewelry, adobe churches, and sunsets over the high desert. The license plates say Land of Enchantment. The tourism board wants you thinking about Georgia O'Keeffe and green chili. Then, on July 16, 1945, the United States detonated the first atomic bomb in the southern desert and never told a soul. 500,000 people felt the blast. The cover story was a magazine explosion, and that was only the beginning of what this state was hiding. These are 7 forbidden places in New Mexico you are not allowed to visit. Number 1. Dulce Base. The town of Dulce has fewer than 3,000 residents, no traffic light, and sits on the Jicarilla Apache Reservation in far northern New Mexico. According to conspiracy theorists, beneath the town's Archuleta Mesa is a 7-story underground complex where aliens conduct genetic experiments on humans. The claims have never been proven, but the cattle mutilations were real. In the mid-1970s, New Mexico State Trooper Gabriel Valdez documented cattle found drained of blood with organs surgically removed. The mutilations were never explained. Then came Paul Benowitz, an Albuquerque physicist who believed he was intercepting alien communications near Kirtland Air Force Base. He traced the signals to Dulce. What Benowitz never knew was that the Air Force Office of Special Investigations was deliberately feeding him disinformation because his monitoring had accidentally picked up classified military transmissions. He suffered a mental breakdown and was institutionalized. Phil Schneider, a self-described government engineer, later claimed he had fought aliens inside the base. He was found dead 7 months after going public. Whether or not anything exists beneath the mesa, the reservation controls access, and visitors are prohibited from entering without a permit. Number 2. Manzano Base. In 1947, the same year something crashed near Roswell, construction began inside the Manzano Mountains under a cover story called Operation Water Supply. Miners were blindfolded during transport so that not even the workers who built the underground base knew its layout. By 1950, the facility was storing nuclear weapons. That same year, a B-29 carrying a nuclear bomb with live detonators crashed directly into Manzano Mountain 3 minutes after takeoff, killing all 13 crew. At its peak, the facility held over 2,000 warheads. Today, the weapons have moved to a replacement facility called KUMMSC, 300,000 square feet entirely underground, storing gravity bombs and warheads. It is the largest nuclear weapons storage complex in the world. Number 3. Los Alamos National Laboratory. In 1943, physicist J. Robert Oppenheimer selected this remote mesa as the site for the Manhattan Project. His team designed both bombs dropped on Japan. The laboratory has continued designing nuclear weapons ever since, and Los Alamos designed the majority of weapons in the current American stockpile. The most restricted building on the campus is PF4. It is currently being transformed into a mass production facility for plutonium pits, the grapefruit-sized cores inside every nuclear bomb. The security failures here have been staggering. In 2004, the lab director declared a stand-down after the loss of classified computer disks, and teams identified more than 3,400 security issues. In a separate incident, classified data on how to deactivate locks on nuclear weapons was found during a drug raid at a nearby home. A former Los Alamos physicist was later indicted for attempting to provide nuclear weapons secrets to Venezuela. Number 4. White Sands Missile Range. This is the largest military installation in the United States. 3,200 square miles of restricted desert. At the northern end sits the Trinity site, where the world changed on July 16, 1945. The device, codenamed the Gadget, was detonated atop a 100-foot steel tower. The explosion vaporized the tower completely and fused the desert sand into a green, glassy mineral now called trinitite. The crater stretched 2,400 feet across. 500,000 people lived close enough to feel or see the effects. No one was evacuated. No disclosure was made. If you are watching this and finding value in it, consider subscribing. We cover the most secretive and forbidden locations across every state in America. After the war, 100 captured German V-2 rockets were brought here and test launched. In 1970, an Athena missile veered off course and rocketed into Mexico carrying radioactive cobalt-57. Mexico reminded Washington that a Pershing missile had already overshot into their territory 3 years earlier. The Trinity site is open to the public 2 days per year. Visitors drive 30 miles through the restricted testing area and typically have 6 hours before the military closes the gates. Number 5. Waste Isolation Pilot Plant. 26 miles southeast of Carlsbad, half a mile underground, sits the only place on Earth designed to hold nuclear weapons waste forever. WIPE is carved out of a salt bed deposited 250 million years ago. The salt slowly creeps around the waste containers over time, permanently sealing them in solid rock. Federal regulations require the site to limit radiation exposure for 10,000 years. So the government commissioned linguists, anthropologists, and artists to design a warning system that future civilizations would still understand. Proposed concepts included fields of concrete thorns and menacing sculptures designed to communicate danger through instinct alone. No human language or symbol has ever survived 10,000 years. The warning has to outlast everything we have ever built. That's not even the strangest part. In 2013, operators packed nuclear waste using organic kitty litter instead of the standard clay-based absorbent. Underground, a chemical reaction caused the drum to rupture, contaminating workers and shutting the facility down for 3 years. Number 6. Roswell. On July 8, 1947, the Roswell Army Airfield issued a press release stating it had come into possession of a flying saucer. Within hours, higher command retracted it, calling the wreckage a weather balloon. The base housed the 509th Bomb Group, the only nuclear-capable unit in the world at the time. In 1994, the Air Force attributed the debris to Project Mogul, a classified balloon program designed to detect Soviet nuclear tests. A follow-up report attributed eyewitness accounts of alien bodies to memories of crash test dummies from the 50s. The Government Accountability Office investigated and found that records covering activities of the base had been destroyed. The disposition form does not indicate who destroyed them or under what authority. Major Jesse Marcel, the intelligence officer who recovered the debris, later said the material was not anything from this Earth. Number 7. Lechuguilla Cave. In 1986, cavers in Carlsbad Caverns National Park dug through rubble at the bottom of an unremarkable pit and felt strong wind blowing through the debris. What they broke into was one of the longest caves on Earth. Over 145 miles of mapped passage descending 1,604 feet below the surface. It had been sealed from the surface world for potentially millions of years. Deep inside, researchers discovered bacteria living on bare rock with no connection to sunlight. All 93 strains collected were resistant to at least one modern antibiotic, despite millions of years of isolation. The discovery reshaped the scientific understanding of antibiotic resistance as something that long predates us. The cave contains gypsum chandeliers up to 6 meters long, sky blue crystals, and a milky blue pool roughly 700 feet underground that may have been sealed for thousands to millions of years. NASA studies the cave as a model for how life might exist on Mars. The Lechuguilla Cave Protection Act, passed in 1993, closed it permanently. No member of the public will ever set foot inside. New Mexico put sunsets and chili peppers on its postcards, but beneath the desert, the government detonated the first atomic bomb and told no one, blindfolded miners to build the world's largest nuclear vault and sealed away waste that has to stay buried for 10,000 years. And 1,000 feet underground, in a cave no tourist will ever enter, bacteria that have never seen the sun are quietly rewriting what we thought we knew about life itself. If this is your first time here, we cover restricted and forbidden locations across every state, every week. subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated.